It's been a while since I've created a masterboard, so I thought I'd take you along for the ride. This masterboard was created in 7 easy steps. You can do it, so let's get started. I'm starting with 11 by 17 copy paper. Lightweight, nothing special here. To bulk it up, I'm going to give it a coat of white gesso. It's just going to stabilize it, make the paint that I put on not absorb into the paper, kind of seal the paper. So when you're applying gesso, if you want to go quick and easy, you can apply with the brayer. Now I grabbed my 2-inch brayer. Maybe I'd have more luck with my 4-inch brayer here, but it's not really covering the way I'd like it. So I'm going to plan B it, and I'm using a key card, and I'm just getting a thick coat of gesso across this 11 by 17 copy paper. Once this is fully on here, I'm going to give it a quick dry. Worked easy peasy. So the first step is I'm going to do some collage papers, and I'm going to do 3 collages. Now these papers from Ciao Bella are tissue paper. The weight between tissue paper and wrapping paper. They're crisp. I got this from NINNYSNAPKINS, and this is the first time exploring, and that's why I wanted to do this masterboard. I wanted to play with these tissue papers and see if I liked them, what I could do with them. So I'm thinking, okay, I can watercut it like I do my napkins, like I do rice paper, and that worked. However, I just decided to rip it, get those um, rough edges along there. Now, both of these papers that I had have definite vintage feel, but I chose the black and white one because I wasn't sure what color scheme I was going to go with. When you do a masterboard, make one decision at a time. So my first decision was I'm using these Ciao Bella tissue papers. I wanted to test them out, see what they're capable of, what if I like using them, how they collage down, and I'll give some insight into that. Although, spoiler alert, I don't know that I've used them exactly to showcase them um, in their best because I'm using them as my first layer. They do go translucent when you glue them down with fluid matte medium. So whatever's underneath it will show through. So they collage down like a dream. If you inadvertently put them in the wrong place, you can lift them up. They're very stable. Um, they're not going to easily rip like a napkin would if you put it down and it got in the wrong spot. Um, so I'm really liking how they go down. They went flat. And again, they are translucent, transparent. You see what's underneath it. Although here I'm putting white. So step 2, I am collaging down some music paper. Again, the music paper I have here is not the yellowed version. I wanted to keep that yellow out, although end up going kind of that route. But black and white seemed to be what was calling me. I like how this looked together, and I chose a sheet of music paper. Well, actually, it chose me. It's been hanging around on my desk for a while. So again, I'm just ripping this, getting rid of straight edges, putting it in the white space. My goal here is to cover a lot of the territory with the collage papers, get different parts. When you're doing a masterboard, you don't know what you're going to do with it. Although I wanted to use a masterboard to make some cards. I did know that that's what I wanted to do, but you're not exactly sure what part of it. You kind of put it all down without worrying about the final product so much, and then you can adjust. So step 3 is the third level of collage, and this is the excess ply of napkin that I've brayered on quinacridone magenta and Naples yellow, and then did some stamping with those same colors. This is a beautiful DIY collage paper. Again, it goes transparent, so anything that's underneath it is showing through. Now, of these collage papers, I think what I would do if I was doing this again, I would put the music paper first, then maybe the tissue paper here, and then the tissue paper, or then the colored paper, and then the Ciao Bella one. Or I would do that at a later level. A lot of it gets covered up, a lot of it gets pushed down, but there is no right or wrong. If I wanted to see more of the Ciao Bella motifs that were on the tissue paper, you want that on an upper level, upper layer. What you put down first tends to get pushed back. And I think I pushed it back a little bit more than I would have liked, but it definitely set the black and white scheme. It set the kind of vintage vibe and the selection. As I said, when you're doing a masterboard, make one decision at a time. And every decision you make kind of shapes the next one. So here I've decided my color scheme. Black, white with this coral, little bit of Naples yellow, quinacridone magenta. Loving the colors. Not necessarily typical vintage colors though. So once you have the overlap, I highly recommend taking the minute, cutting off the excess. It just looks cleaner and it frames what you have. I get a better look-see of what's going on if I cut off the excess. You just want to make sure that it's completely dry before you attempt to do it. So once this is done, I am now step 4. I'm adding some gesso, and with that gesso, I'm softening the edges a little bit. I'm pushing back some of the music paper, some of the colored paper, some of the tissue paper from Ciao Bella. And I like the cloudy, misty effect that rubbing gesso like this does. Wherever I go, if I'm going over top of something and there's texture because it didn't get glued down exactly flat, it's bringing up the texture. So I'm just adding this with my finger, and it's just kind of making it soft and cloud-like. And I really like what's happening in front of me. And that is step 4. Just adding more as you go. It's kind of instinctual. You just kind of do it till you like it. Step 5, I'm doing some stenciling. And I just realized I think there's going to be 8 steps, not 7. Oh, bonus. And I'm stenciling this motif. Now, loving how it looks, the black with the white in the background and those colors. It's really showy because it contrasts. What I found later on, this bold motif right now made it a little difficult to use the masterboard. So I would hesitate to use as bold a pattern as one of the steps here. Because it was so bold, I decided I'm going to use some modeling paste here. And I'm going to put the modeling paste through this Harlequin stencil. Both of the stencils are from the Crafter's Workshop. And I'm going over top of any of the elements there. Anytime I go over top of something, I'm pushing it back. This is adding some wonderful texture. Again, both of the stenciling here that I've done definitely leads to that vintage feel that very first collage paper led us down that path. So I'm giving this a time to dry, and I clean my stencil whenever I've used modeling paste. Don't hesitate. You don't want to wreck your stencil. Now I'm going to colorize the background. I'm going to add a little color. Now I was really tempted to leave it. I'm loving the white space here, thinking maybe I'm done. And then I opted to add color. So I'm going back to the colors that were in that napkin collage paper that I made. And I'm mixing the quinacridone magenta, Naples yellow with a little bit of white gesso, and that's giving some of that corally color that I'm just loving on this page. So this is step 7, colorizing it. So I'm adding that Naples yellow in there and mixing it just right on my finger. I love painting. It's getting caught in the nooks and the crannies of the modeling paste, bringing out some of that texture and giving me a very good base color. But you'll see different parts of this look different. And we are going to use the Masterboard to create something in this video. So stay right to the end because I do turn it into something. Or at least parts of it gets used in this video. Doing a Masterboard is a great way to, when you're in a slump, you can just get creative. Now I've decided that I'm going to add another motif. I'm going to stencil through this one. And I'm again going with black, although I could have gone with white and that would have lightened it. But I'm loving the look of this one on here. And again, I'm going all over. Some of it's off the page because I don't know exactly what parts of this I'm going to use. The goal was just to have fun and create something beautiful that I can use in whatever fashion. And there's the finished masterboard. I love it. The black against with the whites and those colors, dreamy. So I bring out my window templates. This is a 6x6, and I'm putting it on here to see what part of this I want to turn into a 6x6 card, and then I want to do a 5x7. I know that I want to use this for some cards. And then whatever's left over, I'll use it as well. I could make circles or squares. And right now I'm just exploring. I turned it upside down and I decided I'm going to do for the two 6x6 cards. And I know I want a border on the 6x6 card. So I want to cut this 5x5. And then I'm going to glue that on to a card base. But you're going to see me doing that. And I'm using a rotary cutter with the self-healing mat to cut that off. And that's working really, really well. So I'm just looking at that. I'm thinking, okay, I want to make some easy cards with doing too much extra work. So here I'm just cutting this in half so that I have 2 portions here for 2 6x6 cards. That rotary cutter worked so well. So here I have my 2 6x6 cards, my 5x7 card. I have an 8x10 tag, and I have 6 ATCs. So let's make the cards. I wanted to keep this simple. But before I glue that down onto the card base, I'm just edging this with black acrylic paint around the edge. Now, I could glue it down first, but then there's more of a likelihood of me getting that black on the white of the card. So by doing this first, I avoid that potential oops. So that's what I'm doing here. And I'm just shading around the 6x6 for the 6x6 card and the 5x7. Once that's completely dry, I'm using my gel medium matte finish and I'm putting it on the back side. I don't really want to put it on the card base, so I'm putting a generous portion of it on here, and then I'm just eyeballing it so I have that nice white border. Now, this Masterboard is textured and the contrast is there. And my goal is to really let the art of the Masterboard shine, not doing too much to it. So this is a quick way of making an easy card. I'm just reaching under there with a little bit more of the gel medium. And you saw me using the brayer to make sure I have good adhesion. I don't want this to come off. So again, I'm just figuring out which way I want it to go. Generous amount of gel medium and brayering it down and then checking, making sure that I've got good adhesion. Then I went through my sentiment packs and I found some bold font that I could just put on here, and I just played with the orientation a little bit. And with that black and white that's in the background, the contrast, the black sentiment works really well. I also thought about I could just put the sentiment inside or leave it completely blank, and then it's definitely all purpose. You don't have to put a sentiment on it. It's just the way I roll. I grab my Sakura glaze pen and I'm outlining the sentiments. This just frames them and seems to finish it off. The Sakura glaze is dimensional and glossy, so it adds a nice touch. Once I did that, I did some lines around the outside edge just to finish it off. And these are ready to go in my card stash to be mailed out when an occasion arises. Coming soon, if you want to know what I'm going to do with those ATCs, I'm going to turn them into an art journal page. Subscribe and you won't miss that video. Here are the cards. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you learned something today. Until next time, go get creative.